Welcome to JDB's Morning Cap. This is the March Madness special. It's not going to be March Madness until next less than a month. So we're deeply excited that March Madness is close to be here. So March Madness will be on TBS, TNT, True TV, and CBS. For the men's March Madness, men's Final Four National Championship will be on TBS this year. The women's March Madness is on ESPN family of networks. Once again. So, what should we start today? Should I start men's March Madness first or women's March Madness first? So we're gonna look at that right now. We're gonna start women's March Madness first, if we could get started. If that's the case, right now. Let's see who's in the top 68 of women's March Madness. So, hold on a second. Let's see who's in. Let's see who's in right now. I gotta look. This is interesting. So, let's see out of this. All right, here we go. So UConn is the top seed of the women's March Madness. So let's check in the Fort Worth region. UConn will face FDU 16 versus 1 matchup. Number 1 UConn versus 16 FDU. You had number 9 Syracuse take on number 8 Illinois. And then you got number 5 West Virginia take on number 12 Murray State. We had number 4 Ole Miss take on number 13 McNeese. And then you got number 6 Baylor take on number 11 Ball State. We have number 14 Western Illinois will take on number 3 Iowa. You got number 10 Princeton take on number 7 Notre Dame. You got number 15 High Point take on number 2 LSU. That's the Fort Worth region. From the Sacramento region, it'll be number 1 Texas take on number 4 Howard. Correction, number 1 Texas take on number 16 Howard. Number 8 NC State takes on number 9 Iowa State. Then you got number 5 Oklahoma will take on the winner of the first four matchup between the winner of the women's first four matchup between the 12th seeded Colorado and Clemson. Colorado will face Clemson in the first four if the women's madness had started today. And then number 4 will be Michigan State taking on the 13th Green Bay. And then let's go to the bottom side of the standings. You got number 11 Fairfield take on number 6 Alabama. And you got number 14 Charleston take on number 3 Duke. And then continuing the Sacramento region, it'll be number 10 North Dakota State take on number 7 Georgia Bulldogs. Number 15 is LMU take on number 2 Michigan. Then Sacramento region, region 2, it'll be UCLA number 1 take on the winner of the first four matchup of the women's one. Number 16 UC San Diego take on California Baptist. And then you got number 8 Oklahoma State take on number 9 Mississippi State. Then you got number 5 Minnesota will take on the winner of the first four matchup. Number 12 Virginia will take on number 12 Arizona State. They'll battle each other in the first four for women's. Number 4 Kentucky takes on number 13 Louisiana Tech. And you got number 6 Tennessee take on number 11 Rice. You got number 3 TCU take on number 14 Idaho. Then you got number 7 Washington take on number 10 Virginia Tech. Number 2 Vanderbilt take on number 15 Navy. And then there's a Fort Worth region, number 3. Number 1 South Carolina will take on the winner of the first four matchup between the 16th seed Alabama A&M and Chattanooga. And then you got number 8 Oregon take on number 9 Villanova. And you got number 5 North Carolina take on number 12 San Diego State. You got number 4 Ohio State take on number 13 Georgia Southern. You got number 6 Texas Tech take on number 11 Columbia. And then you got number 3 Maryland take on number 14 Vermont. You got number 7 USC Trojans take on number 10 Rhode Island. And then finally, number 2 Louisville take on number 15 Eastern Kentucky. The teams are still in the mix. For the teams outside looking in. Those are the 8 teams those are the 4 teams that are in the tournament. The last 4 buys, last 4 in, they're all in the tournament. The first 4 out, the teams did not make the cut. Utah, Nebraska, Kansas, Richmond. The next 4 out is California, which is UC Berkeley, Stanford, South Dakota State, and Kansas State. So those are the 8 teams that are not in the tournament right now. So 8 teams are in the first 4. Alabama A&M, Chattanooga, Virginia, Arizona State, UC San Diego, California Baptist, Colorado and Clemson. Those are the 8 teams are in the first 4. Had the tournament started today for women's March Madness. So the question is, what are my thoughts about the women's tournament? I think there's going to be more movement down the stretch. I think there's going to be some movement because it feels like there's so many teams. Look at the conference. Respect the conference. SEC and Big Ten has combined 22 teams to be in the tournament. But the next most is ACC with 9, Big 12 with 8. Big East is just 2. Ivy with 2. But this is shocking to me. This is absolutely shocking to me because we've been talking about who's going to be in the March Madness. It's something like that. But this is what happened with teams that could be still, they could still be, which team has the lowest percent chance, but they have a better chance to have it. It's unlikely they have, which team has the lowest probability and then they have a chance to make the tournament. Which part of the first few teams did not make the cut could make the tournament. So I'm gonna say Nebraska could, or Richmond. Richmond is the best team from outside chance to get in. They have the best outside chance to get to the tournament, the postseason play for the women's March Madness. The 8 teams, they could be in the first 4 right now. They could be in the first 4 right now if that's the case. But you all see it happen. But let's look at the high quality teams. You got UConn. You got Baylor, Notre Dame, Texas, UCLA, Tennessee, South Carolina, USC. Michigan. Those are the quality teams in women's college basketball. UConn is favored to win the whole thing, and we all know that. UConn is clear favorite to win it. UConn and South Carolina are one of the favorites to win a championship, the women's national championship. I mean, we've been talking about the talent, the roster. I mean, there's all things you could get through it. There's certain things you have to go through it. There's certain things you got to make it. UConn is the best team in women's college basketball today. South Carolina is one in the mix. You got Baylor, you got Texas. Those are the counters when you have those success. There's a lot of things you could account for. There's not much you can really touch with. Besides that, you talk about women's college basketball. Trusting your stuff is going to be the key. Trusting your stuff is gonna be the key. And that's how you do multiple things. You just got to perform at a high level that you really expected. So, right now, those are the projections right now. This is not the official 68 team women's March Madness. This is a projection. If the season had ended, had the tournament started today, this bracket would be like this. So I mean, that's the difference right now. So which team will miss the cut? So I think Richmond has the best outside chance to get into the tournament. So that would be that. So this is a different situation you're going to make. You got to make sure that you got to be a NCAA tournament ready for the women's basketball team. But we've just been talking about this. Quality players, quads, big wins for women's college basketball. you'll take it at any time. For women's basketball, we've seen more upsets than they were over the last 4 or 5 years in the regular season. Will that carry it over in a women's tournament? I think so. And here's why. Because look at the teams that had the low odds, like Rhode Island, Eastern Kentucky, Columbia, Georgia Southern. The teams who is in the first four, like for 8 teams, for women's first four. So, I mean, this is what happened. We just been talking about who's going to be in the tournament for the entire process in this one here. All right, so coming up next, we will continue. Get this song real quick. Come next, we'll talk men's. We'll preview the men's bracket, and then we'll break it all down. Who's going to be in the Final Four for both men's and women's, and who's going to walk out to win their respective national championships in their respective sides. So we're going to step away in about 3 minutes. If that's the case, we'll talk men's madness. Who's the best team in the country right in the men's college basketball? We will step away in 3 minutes. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back to JDB's Morning Cap March Madness special. So, before we get to the men's bracket, what's been happening this week in college basketball? We've seen numerous upsets this week in college basketball for the men's. Yeah, it has been a pretty difficult week, to say the least. The teams who have been tops could let's take a look what's been happening. This week's March Madness. So what's been happening throughout the days? Just wanted to see who got upset or who pulled off the upset since that time. We've seen Ohio State upset Wisconsin. They beat the top 25 opponent. We have Iowa knocked off the top 10, 9-ranked Nebraska. We had Arizona State knocked off the top 15 team, number 13 ranked Texas Tech. Then recently, Creighton shocks number 5 UConn, and then unranked Missouri knocked off the top 20, number 19 ranked Vanderbilt. So those are the upset specials this week or over the last few days. Iowa State had a big win this week against Houston. So those are the games that you've been watching. So the upsets keep piling up in college basketball for men's over the last few weeks. So let me tell you this. Will this carry over for men's March Madness? I think it does. Because there's teams right now who could be in the mix for the championship. And that's the window you're going to use. You got to use a lot of windows and make that stuff happen. And this is the best case scenario to get to this part right now. They would love to see how that works out for this one. All right, let's start the men's March Madness bracket. The best team in the country is Michigan Wolverines. Let's start off with the Midwest region. Number 1, Michigan will take on the winner of the men's first 4 between number 16 UMBC and Southern East Missouri. And then it will be number 8 will be St. Louis will take on number 9 SMU. And then you got number 5 Tennessee take on number 12 Yale. Number 13 California Baptist will take on number 4 Virginia. Then you got number 6 Kentucky will take on the winner of the first 4 matchup between number 11 Santa Clara and UCLA. And then you got number 3 Texas Tech take on number 14 UC Irvine. And then you got number 7 Wisconsin take on number 10 Georgia. You got number 2 Iowa State take on number 15 ETSU. South region, it'll be number 1 Houston take on number 16 Wright State. And you got number 8 Clemson take on number 9 Indiana. And you got number 5 Arkansas take on number 12 Liberty. You got number 4 Nebraska take on number 13 Stephen F. Austin. And then you got number 6 North Carolina take on number 11 Ohio State. Number 3 Florida take on number 14 Portland State. You got number 7 Utah State take on number 10 Texas A&M. You got number 2 Illinois take on number 15 Troy. And for the East region, you got number 1 Duke will take on the winner of the first 4 between BCU take on Howard. And then you got number 8 Miami take on number 9 Texas. And then you got number 5 Vanderbilt take on number 12 South Florida. And then you got number 4 Michigan State take on number 13 High Point. Then you got number 6 Louisville take on number 11 Missouri. The winner of the first 4 between number 11 Missouri and USC Trojans. Number 3 Kansas take on number 14 Austin Peay. You got number 7 NC State take on number 10 University of Central Florida. Number 2 UConn will take on number 15 Navy. Okay, for the West region, number 1 Arizona will take on number 16 Long Island. Number 8 Iowa take on number 9 St. Mary's. Then you got number 5 St. John's take on number 12 Belmont. You got number 4 Alabama take on number 13 UNC Wilmington. You got number 6 BYU take on number 11 Miami, Ohio. You got number 3 Gonzaga take on number 14 North Dakota State. You got number 7 Villanova take on number 10 Auburn. You got number 2 Purdue take on number 15 Merrimack. That's the 68 teams that are in the tournament. Here are the last 4 byes: UCF, Texas A&M, Auburn, and Ohio State. The last 4 teams who made the cut: Santa Clara, Missouri, UCLA, and USC. Had the men's tournament started today, they're all in the tournament. Here are the first teams out: TCU, San Diego State, New Mexico, and VCU. The next 4 out is California, UC Berkeley, Virginia Tech, Seton Hall, and West Virginia. So 8 teams who in the men's first 4: Missouri and USC, VCU, Howard, Santa Clara and UCLA, UMBC, and SE Missouri. So that's the 8 teams are going to be in the first 4 for the men's tournament. Try to make the round 64, something like that. So first, try to get to the first round. So it's not confirmed yet. It's not a confirmation tournament bracket yet. It won't be confirmed until the selection show hits. So, selection show will start on March 15th. March 15th, that's when the men's and women's March Madness selection show will begin after their conference championship games are over. Excuse me. So, most teams, SEC and Big Ten is tied for 11. 22 teams combined are in the tournament as of right now. ACC has 8. Big 12 has 7. West Coast has 3. Big East is 3. So those are the brackets that you're supposed to be deserving. So what was my thoughts for the men's bracket? Well, it's almost perfect. It could have been better. Excuse me. But which college team will have an outside chance to be in the tournament? To me, I'm going to go with New Mexico. I think they have a better chance. They have a better outside chance to get into the tournament. And how they can do that, they got to win the entire conference tournament to get into the March Madness. If that's the case, then this is a different story. This is a different situation. What's going to happen to it? We don't know at this point. The team who can have a chance to be in it, and they can put themselves in a prime position for the next one, if that's going to be the case. So, if this is the one, then this isn't an issue at all. So I would have asked all these questions: who could be in the tournament? It's not a problem. It's a real different story. I mean, there's not much questions you can really ask. Were you ready for that? Yeah, pretty much. You were ready for everything else. Because of that, you already made your own differences. It's not a problem because it felt like there's so many guys who really want to step up and make something happen. I really love to see this. I really love to make this guys happen. Because of that, this team would have made this tournament in its own hands. But it seems to me that anyone who could serve the tournament a whole lot more for the men's. But let's take a look. Which teams we got? Michigan, which one of the quality teams that I've been mentioned about in the men's tournament? Michigan, Duke, Tennessee, Kentucky, Houston, Arkansas, Arizona, Kansas, Gonzaga. The list goes on and on. Who could be in UConn? Those are the quality teams in men's college basketball. I mean, can UConn win a championship? Can UConn play their best performance? This is key. This is key to get to win 3 out of 4 years. How UConn can win their third men's national title over the last 4 years. Dan Hurley said we gotta We got to crash these boards. That's going to be the key for the entire men's NCAA tournament. Rebounding is going to be important. Defense has got to be important. They got some high-quality players, but the high level is going to be in play. That's going to be the key. Can they perform at a high level? That's the question. So you put yourself in a really difficult path to get into the NCAA tournament. That's a golden difference. That is 100% golden difference. There's not a lot you can worry about that, and you already know it. It's the situation you're gonna put yourself in. And then you got Duke. Duke is one of the best defenses in the country. They got to the Final Four. At least they got that. At Houston, they want to win their first title in their program history. They want to do it. They really want to do that. All right, so come next, we're going to preview. So who's going to make the Sweet 16 and who's going to make the Final Four, Elite 8, and National Championship. We will talk about that next. Welcome back here on this morning cap. So let's do this. Let's start off women's tournament. If the tournament had started today, let's take a look at the women's first four matchup. It'll be 16 Alabama A&M take on Chattanooga. The winner will take on South Carolina. Who I'm picking? If I would have to pick, I have to pick Chattanooga. And then Arizona State and Virginia, 12th seeded. Who I pick in? Arizona State. Then California Baptist or UC San Diego between the 16 seeds. I'll take California Baptist. Then finally it's Finally it's Colorado and Clemson, the 12th seed. The winner of that one, I'm going to take Clemson. So here's how it works here. Here's the first round. Here's a potential first round matchup. Eastern Kentucky, Louisville. Louisville moves on, and then Rhode Island versus USC. USC wins. It's Louisville versus USC, and Louisville wins the first round, round 32. For Maryland, Maryland wins. Texas Tech or Columbia, Texas Tech. Maryland and Texas Tech, round 32. It'll be Texas Tech. And then Georgia Southern, Ohio State. Like Ohio State, San Diego State, or North Carolina. North Carolina, Ohio State and North Carolina. I pick Ohio State. Villanova or Oregon. I pick Oregon. Chattanooga or South Carolina. South Carolina. Oregon or South Carolina. I pick South Carolina. So here's the women's Sweet 16. Or should I say? Or I want to skip to Elite 8. Who goes to Elite 8? UCLA, like UCLA, Minnesota, Tennessee. Actually, UCLA, Minnesota, South Carolina. USC, right? Louisville's in the mix. And who's in the Final Four? Women's Final Four. I'm going to go with South Carolina, UConn, Texas. Yeah, I'll go with UCLA, South Carolina, Texas, and UConn for the women's Final Four. For the women's national championship, I'm going to pick UConn for South Carolina for the women's national championship. The winner I'm choosing is UConn. That's the women's I predicted. That's the women's NCAA tournament. So let's take a look at the men's March Madness. So we could get to that in a couple of moments, but it's no problem because it felt like there's teams that could be in the tournament. So who do you think who's going to make the men's Final Four? We'll get to that in a second. Who's going to make the Elite Eight? We'll go with Duke, UConn, Michigan, Arizona, Kentucky, Tennessee, Florida, and Texas Tech. The team's going to be in the Elite Eight. And my Final Four picks of the men's: UConn, Michigan, Duke, Arizona. My Final Four winners who go to the national championship game is going to be Duke and Michigan. And the winner will be the national championship. I picked Duke because I think they have a chance to redeem themselves. They blew a Final Four lead against Houston last year. Now this year they have a pretty good chance to get to win a national championship because their defense is solid. The defense is really, really solid because of that. There's no getting around it. So interesting because Arizona's a quality team, but they haven't played great the last few games. They lost to Kansas last week and Texas Tech last week. They escaped against BYU 2 days ago, so this is big for them. But tomorrow, this is a national championship game preview. It'll be Duke versus Michigan. Either it's a Final Four preview or a national championship game preview. It could happen. These two, the game will be in Washington, D.C. tomorrow night. It's going to be a fun basketball game tomorrow. There's no getting around it. So let's just say this. I love the preview Duke and Michigan game tomorrow because this game is going to be the best game, could be the best game of the year. But Alabama and Arkansas could win the best game of the year because of that. This is going to be the best matchup of the year. the national championship game preview. The two young head coaches, Duke's head coach John Shire, and you got your best player for Duke is Cameron Bruiser, the son of Carlos Bruiser. And they got Michigan, top defenses in the country. We got top 5 defense in the country squaring off between Duke Blue Devils and Michigan Wolverines. These two could square off each other in the national championship in the near future this year. But this is going to be exciting. I'm looking forward to this matchup. The winner, I got to pick Duke to win. But actually, I'm going for Duke, but I think Michigan's going to win because they got size, they play great defense, they get the paint a lot, they draw fouls a lot, they do everything. Well, it's not a problem because of that. They get to the March Madness, they get to the Final Four, get to the national championship. I would know this. So they would love to see if they can really do that at this point on. It would happen that way. So if that's the case, then they can be in college basketball. The one good moment things. So this is what happens when you get there. When you take a lot of confidence, it's tough to break it away. But who takes the one shining moment towards the end of this tournament? The last day of the NCAA tournament, it's the one shining moment. Who walks out to win the national championship for the men's? You got Michigan and Duke, you got UConn and Arizona, then you got some other quality teams like Texas Tech, Kentucky, you got Florida, and then you got some other teams that can be, like in Kansas, they could be in the mix for the national championship, could be in the conversation. You got Houston. You got Houston to get into the Final Four. I mean, Houston's a better team to beat to get back to the Final Four. I'm not sure they have a chance to get to the Final Four. It's not going to be easy by any means. So right now, as for the women's tournament and men's tournament, expect to be existing for themselves. But you had yourself a huge moment. Because of that, when you play all these songs about this is a golden opportunity to make yourself useful. But But I do like the fact that these guys are just playing. They're just playing a lot of confidence where they were. Because of this, they still have a pretty good chance to win the championship. But so like I said, my Final Four is Michigan taking on Arizona, Duke versus UConn. So my Final Four winners are Duke and Michigan. And the Michigan and Duke national championship game. If I would get the pick, I would have to pick Duke, because Duke is my favorite college basketball team. So hopefully Duke gets to that, and that's the point of view. They can put themselves in a really, really good position. Who makes the one shining moment to end the March Madness? So we're an inch closer. Like I said, March Madness is inching closer right now, and we could be more excited about this. So this is what happened when you take all these moments away. There's everything you have to go right with that. So you'll take it. You will take that at any time because of it. If that's the case, then you can explain your own differences, at least right now. But it's not the worst thing you can really do. Maybe it's no problem. All right, let's wrap things up. So what's coming up in our next episode? We'll be back on. We'll do a talk show on Monday. Finally, this will be the second Monday episode this month. So the one shining moment by the late Luther Vandross. What's coming up on Monday? We'll recap. So the basketball games, we'll recap the Lakers and the Celtics. I'm sorry I didn't preview the Celtics and the Warriors. I'm sorry I didn't preview the Celtics and the Lakers. I picked the Celtics to win on Sunday. Tomorrow, Rockets Knicks. I picked the Rockets to win. Then Cavaliers. On Sunday we have Cavaliers and Thunder. I picked the Thunder to win. Nuggets Warriors. I gotta pick the Nuggets. For tonight's game, Mavericks or Wolves. I picked Minnesota to win. Lakers or Clippers. I gotta pick the Lakers. So this is a one shining moment. We're gonna play this song. Feel the wind in your when we play this song by the end of the men's national championship game, we've done this every year. This is an exciting time in general. So, also talk NFL as well as the off-season is approaching. Free agency is approaching as well. The new league year is approaching. Everything's approaching. Because of that, football season is close to be over. We will be good on that, so we'll take it under consideration of this. So if that's the case, alright, that's gonna do it. This is JDB's morning cap. This is a one shining moment. Speaking of which, I hope you have a one shining moment weekend. Enjoy your weekend. We'll see you back on Monday.